What's good, everybody? Look, y'all know who I am, but for those who don't know, I go by the name of Gabriel Oree, and this is my business partner.
JR, what's up, guys?
Yeah, Mr. J.R. Johnson behind the machines. And listen, y'all, this is Ask a Producer, and on this pod, we know that we deal with music, but we also claim and we say and we proclaim and we declare that everyone is a producer of something. And we like to bring people on who's pushing that needle, who's impacting the community, as well as elevating their gifts in a positive way. And tonight's no different. We have a very special guest in the green room. But before we bring him on, JR, bro, how was your Friday, bro?
Pretty busy, man. It was
pretty busy.
Yeah, pretty busy. So that's all I can say about it. Pretty busy.
That's what's up, man. JR stays busy. So do I, man. I had a full day today, but no complaints. I'm always happy, and like I always say, some people call it the grind, I call it the shine. And listen, we're just kind of rambling right now because we want you to share this video. Tag producers, tag sound engineers, sound guys, tag people who are into that industry, into that field, of music, because tonight's guest is a giant behind the scenes. And I'm talking about some of your favorite artists that you listen to. You ever wonder, like, man, where did that sound come from? Like, where did they record that at? Well, we got one of the brothers that's solely responsible for a lot of things coming out of Charleston, and surrounding areas. Tonight, he hails from the greater North Charleston area. This is a real laid back, humble brother. I'm glad I can call him my brother. We call him my brothers. He is the one, the only. There's nobody else like this guy, Mr. Denzell Riley.
Yo.
What up, man?
Brother?
What's up? Y'all doing all right?
Hey,
Yeah,
bro,
man.
we're good, man. Listen, before we start, I just want to thank you for coming on the pod with us. You could have been doing anything else, but
sir.
you gave some time for us tonight, and we really appreciate it. So listen, man, I know I gave you a little Rudy Poop, little soft introduction, but why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
All right. Yo, so I'm Denzell. I'm here from North Charleston, South Carolina, 31 years old, father of 4. Grew up in the church. Both of my parents are pastors, and I own a production company called Natural Sounds Production Company, and we do a variety of things: sound, lighting, staging, backline, you name it, we do it.
Listen, man, listen. Now, let me tell everybody how Denzell and I met. It's such a small world. I met this guy from Philly. He was a guitar player, and his mom was affiliated with another guy's church. His name is Tristan Simmons. And I went with MJ, to the guitar player, to this church, and this is where I saw Denzell. He was there, and him and Tristan real close, and Denzell was playing on the keys. And from there, I was like, man, I like to network everywhere I go. And so from there, me and Denzell connected. Once I connect with musicians, people that I know that's great and what they do and going places, I like to bring them with me. And let's go to Florida, man, because I'm always looking for musicians to help me out with what I'm doing. Yeah, we went to Miami. We took a little crew, man. So listen, I want to ask you, Denzell, when I met you, you were more like keys and everything like that. Now, when I look at you, I call you a conglomerate of things. You're like a giant behind the scenes. What drew you to like the live sound engineering type of stratosphere?
So how it all started, like I said, both of my parents are pastors. So my pops opened a church when I was in like middle school or something like that.
Yeah.
So you know how it goes. We didn't have a sound man, but somebody had to learn how to do the sound. So that's honestly how I got into it. At my pop's church, had to work out how to use the analog mixer, and from there, I realized I really like this.
Wow.
That's how it usually works, man. You the
Mhm.
PK, you got to do everything. Play the
Everything.
instrument, run the sound, make sure
Everything.
everything else. You know what I'm saying? So that's our learning ground.
Pay it off. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's definitely how everybody learns. We all PKs on here, and y'all, our parents work us, you know. And then sometimes it's already in you. You get used to something. You like, man, this ain't right, and you want to go fix it, you know. And that's how you kind of dibble and dabble into that. And Denzell, man, like my hat's off to you, man, because you've really, in my eyes, you know, really grown really fast. Because when we met, you're 31 now. This had to be at least 10, 15.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a minute, man. So how's that journey been from you? I know both of your parents are pastors. You've been in the church. You know, how did the music bug hit you in the first place?
So same thing with my parents' church. They started the church, and we had a musician, and something happened, and the musician ended up leaving the church, and they had nobody to play. And I knew how to play like one song. I knew how to play Lord, You Are Good and Your Mercy Endures, the Israel Houghton song. I knew how to play it, and they sang that every Sunday for like a couple of weeks until I learned how to play some other songs. And from there, I was like, all right. I started making beats because I was already making beats since like middle school, so I already knew how like to dab on the piano, but I didn't really know how to, you know, play songs fully. And from there, I just started practicing, man, and the piano became like my first love, honestly.
So would you agree that the church was the first place that gave you that grace and that helped you to develop your gift in music? Definitely. Now, how about any other influences? You know, I know your mom's dad's pastors. Anybody in your family does music? You know,
my grandmother played the organ, and she passed when I was in middle school. But she was like the old lady that played the organ at the church. Only knew how to play in C. Didn't know how to work the pedals and none of that. Yeah, that was my grandma. So it was like when she passed, she left the organ and a keyboard to me. So that was kind of another motivation for me to really learn how to actually play.
Wow. So I know you do sound. Does it take away from your love for creating music or playing music, or are you able to balance it out?
Yeah, it honestly took away the love. Like honestly, I still play, but not like I used to, because my focus right now is towards my, you know, the production of, you know, events and all that. But I still play on Sundays, but how I used to, not really. But you know, I still got the love for it, just not as great as it was at one point.
Right.
So now, speaking of the sound, I saw some of your gear. Like we was on an event together. Dia, shout out to Dia. We was on an event together, and I got to see some of the gear that you're using. Now, when I found out that you was into that side of sound and just that side of it, you know, I started recommending people, hey man, Denzell. Like, how did you, I'm trying to figure out, how did you just like, okay, I know what to use and I know exactly what to do when it comes to live sound. Because, you know, it's a difference between live sound, studio sound, and then just being in a regular church, you know, house. How did you navigate that to learn, you know, what to do? And then my second part of that question is, I see that you have a team. How did you know who to pick for your team and who does what? How do you run that?
So for me, like I said, I was doing the sound at the church, and once I really decided to take it serious, I started my company, but I was doing like small backyard stuff. And then I got a call from BJ Brown. That's the guy that really trained me and showed me pretty much all that I kind of know. You know, BJ took me in, and for years he just was pouring to me and showed me how you do this, how you do that. You know, telling me what sounds good, what doesn't sound good, how to use certain tools on the soundboards. And from there, you know, we worked together for a while, and then I branched off and did my own thing. And as far as my crew, you know, I try to always get guys that actually have a love for and a passion for doing what we do, not somebody that's trying to get the check. Just, you know, they just want to, how much you paying? You know? Because if you got a love for it, you're gonna take your time with it. You're gonna do it better than the person that's just there to get the dollar and get out the door, you know. So that's how I kind of pick who, you know.
And that is a telltale sign. Look, y'all share this video. This is Jim's right here. That is a telltale sign. I don't want y'all to skip over what he just said. Having a passion for it and not just in it for the dollar. Because I've met a lot of people, you know, not trying to come in with me personally, but just a lot of people with that mindset. Is I call it like a young person, like they don't really see it yet, right? They just in it to get, hey, how much is paying, you know, and they don't see the bigger picture. You don't
Right.
see like, yo, you can network. This can be a long haul. You can look at the long. They can have other people that open up more doors. They just in it for this one time, no passion for it. And it's just for the money. So that's a true sign, man. I don't know if that's how you were when you were younger, but by you just saying that, it lets me know where you are level wise as far as like, you know, thinking, because that's more of a wise, that's more of, you got the knowledge, you understand what you've learned, and now you're making wise choices with what you do, man. So that's, man, hats off to you for that. How long, so now you mentioned BJ, shout out to BJ, man.
Yes, sir. BJ.
BJ's another one that's really solidified in the Charleston and surrounding areas, you know, and abroad. So how did you, so BJ poured into you. Now while he was pouring into you and while you was with him for that time, you already had your company, Natural Sounds?
Yeah, I already had the company.
Okay. Now
he was supportive, you know, so the whole time.
What made you want to, and this is another question, please listen to this. So now what made you want to even just say, I want to create a company for myself, even though I'm not going to fully be active in it right now because I'm still kind of learning some ropes, but I'm gonna have this and sit it to the side. What made you want to do that?
So Natural Sounds started off as me just renting instruments. I wasn't doing sound, and I was doing sound, but I wasn't really like pushing that I was an engineer. I was mostly renting like organs and drums and stuff. But then as I went on, I realized, man, you know, this is a package deal. They want the sound, they want the instruments, they want the lights. So I kind of just built from there.
So what was it like? Oh, sorry, Gabe. So
go ahead.
what was it like for your first time doing this or getting started?
Yeah.
Was it
By yourself?
were you nervous, or it was like you had this passion, you were like, you know, I'm gonna just try this anyway?
I had the passion, and I tell people all the time, I think I messed up my first 2 shows, man.
we all did.
I had feedback all night.
Hey, that's how you learn, though, man. You gotta follow.
I learned. I had one of those personas. Boys didn't even know how to work it, man. I'm gonna go for it. And as I kind of did those first 2 shows, I kind of realized, all right, do this different next time, do that different. And as I started learning what not to do and what to do, it started working out the kinks, and from there, everything just started going smooth, man.
Wow, you know what I learned? Oh, I keep cutting you off, Gabe.
No. Go ahead, bro. Flow.
When this is in general, when anybody, if you have a love for something and you fail, of course you're gonna be frustrated with it. But the goal is to keep going, because you learn from that failure. Most people sometimes, well, not most, but some people, when they fail, they give up and they just like,
give up.
I ain't doing that no more. Because I don't like that feeling when people, you know, look down on you or whatever. But the goal is to keep going. That's how you learn. So don't be afraid of failing. Definitely. So I like that, man.
That's probably like the number one thing. A lot of people, because of that fear of failing, and man, what they gonna think, they don't even start. They don't even get out there and just, yo, I ain't doing nothing, because, you know, they play it safe so nobody can laugh at me or nobody can talk about me. But like Denzell said, like, hey, man, I failed. Everybody fails. That's almost like that's a part of success. Like, tell me when you failed. What was your challenge? What did you learn from it? You know. And so now I want to connect this to you, Denzell. Since you failed a couple times, how has that shaped the way you approach your live sound? How do you optimize now your live sound when you go into setup for production? What do you do to kind of mitigate those failures?
Preparation. For me, like when I'm doing events, I always try to make sure, even when it comes to like the audio console, I try to make sure I got the scene lined up before we even get there, so we can know what's exactly happening. Like if I'm doing an event and I can get specifics, I need to know, all right, for drums, how much toms we got, how many vocals we got, how many keyboards, you run them stereo or mono. Like I try to have everything prepared beforehand, so when I get there, it's just smooth sailing.
Do you take the time to chart this out and write it out, or do you just like, all right, I got it in my head, I got my team, I'll just delegate and tell them what to do? How do you approach that?
Kind of both. Like I usually type up like input lists and like stage plots and all that, and then when we get to the event, I'll let everybody know who's doing what. So for the most part, if you see me on the show, I do like front of house or engineering, sometimes audio engineering, but for the most part, you can see me behind a lighting console because that's my passion.
That's
Is
your thing.
them lights. Yeah, that's my thing.
So what was one of your biggest gigs? I guess the ones you'd be like, man, I made it. I'm doing it now.
The biggest one, hands down, was the African American Museum opening ceremony.
Nice.
Oh,
that was
nice.
That was a real good one. And we got to work with BB Winans, Felicia Rashad. It was just that was the one. I've done some great events, but that was the one.
It made you feel like, yo, I've arrived, yo.
Yeah.
Natural Sounds is here, baby.
Hey, the price went up after that.
now, how were you able to get that gig?
So how it went was from the beginning, they knew they wanted to use a minority company.
Good.
So they brought me and BJ to the table, and it was one event, but it was in two locations. They was doing the actual event at the museum, and then they was doing like the streaming at the park where they had all of the other choirs. So BJ ended up doing the park, and I ended up doing the actual the ceremony at the museum, which both were amazing.
Which is dope, because that was gonna be my next question. Like, BJ, I look at as the mentor, you kind of the mentee.
Definitely
have y'all worked together since you branched off, and say, hey, VJ, I'm a little branch off your tree. I've grown. Have y'all worked together? But you answered that, man. Dope. Another question, man. Like, when you do like these live concerts and things like that, and you're booked, your company's booked to do the show, do you get with the artists themselves, and do y'all go through like the needs of like, hey, what do you need? And then in your head, okay, I'm gonna do mine on this, I'm gonna stereo this. How do you do that with an artist?
So it depends on the event. Like some artists have riders, like if it's I wouldn't say a real artist, but if it's like an artist that's like structured and they really like business wise, they're gonna send me a rider and tell me exactly what they need. And and then other artists, if it's like a regular just concert in the city, we just get there and kind of just
kind of know the
they
flow.
Tell us that flow with it. But if it's like a major artist, they're gonna send a rider before time, so make sure you got what they need.
Now, being that you focus and specialize in lights, who does like your front of house mixing? If you had like a artist and they want the works lights and everything like that, who would be primarily focusing on the front of house?
So I use two people for front of house. My guy Alex Sanders, and then I got another guy I use named Joshua Alston. So I use Josh for most of my church events, and then I use Alex for like the secular and the festivals, because they have two different mixes and they just fit two different places. But yeah, those are my two engineers I use.
So my next question is fitting, since you said that. What are some of the differences between being in a big concert style, maybe outside or whatever mix, versus like more of an in-house, like in the church or something like that? Or to make it simpler, studio versus live? Like how do you approach, because I know you kind of dabble in both, how do you approach a live mix where everything's just live, and then in a studio mix where it's not necessarily live, even though you might be using some live elements?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing is definitely about that balance, like balancing those sounds like smoothly. So for me, studio wise, we use a lot of plugins and stuff. When it comes to live, we don't really have that many. We got effects and stuff, we got gate and all that stuff we could put on the inputs, but studio, you have more like
control over what you do. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And my last question, and then we'll take a break after this. You strike me, because I seen you in action. You strike me as a person that kind of stays cool and calm under heavy pressure.
Yes.
How do you do that? How do you remain calm when it's high pressure and things might not be going correctly? How do you just like, let me take it in and let me fix the issue?
Honestly, I kind of just got like that in the last 3 years, a little bit longer than that. BJ put that on me, because before, if it wasn't right, it's like, man, this ain't going right, that ain't going right, man. This don't sound good, that don't sound good. But BJ put it in me. He was like, man, you don't ever do that like in front of people, because if you freaking out, the client automatically go, because sometimes it may not be right. The client might not even know, but we know, because we're the one doing it. And BJ like, just stay smooth, man, stay calm. If you got any issues, talk to your team, and y'all fix it. troubleshoot and get it together, but stay calm. Just troubleshoot until you figure out what you need to do.
It reminds me of playing when you the only one know that you messed up. Nobody else knows. They won't know until you react.
I
meant to do that.
Right.
But listen, speaking of staying calm, y'all stay calm. We're gonna take a break, but when we come back from this break, we're gonna get into the goods and some of the stuff that Denzell has produced, some of the stuff that y'all still, going crazy over, right when we come back. Y'all share this video. We'll be right back. And we're back. So listen, man, I know y'all enjoy what y'all just heard, right? Y'all know who did that? This man right here. Let's jump right into it. Before the break, we're talking to Denzell Riley. He's the man behind the boards. He's the man behind the sounds that you hear. The sounds are so natural. That's why his company's called Natural Sounds. And so, listen, man, Apostle Pinkney, rest in peace, Apostle Pinkney. First of all, how did you link up with Apostle Pinkney? How did y'all connect?
So I met them when I was in high school. I was in 10th grade, and my girlfriend was going to their church, and that was how I met them. I visited one Sunday, and I wasn't even playing like that yet. And I told the guy I played, and then I just played after church. And from then, it was like we just gelled.
Oh, so y'all not related?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought y'all were related.
That's my family, though.
Well, hey, blood sometimes. Yeah. That's good.
So listen, man. Like I want to tell a quick story. Apostle Pinkney. So Apostle Pinkney. His church, my church. Bishop Washington. Like we all fellowship right together. Apostle Pinkney. I think I was working on some songs for myself, or we had some other people that we was working on at the time. This is years and years ago, before he came out with his dynamic first project, The Sound of Holiness. Now, Apostle Pinkney called me. We used to talk on the phone. He's like, "Hey, man, I need, I want to work on an album, and I need some songs. You got anything? I want to work on an album." And at the time, all I knew Apostle Pinkney for at the time, like he preached, but I didn't know his sound and I didn't know his style. And I was like, Yeah. So listen, I, I'm laughing because it's funny to me. I had this song that I was working on, and I didn't know. I was like, "This ain't for me," and it was like a Marvin Sapp sounding,
Oh, I
or
remember.
Marvin, not Marvin Sapp. Yeah, it's Marvin Sapp sounding song. So I had the beat kind of in idea mode, and I had like a reference track. So I was like, I sent that to him. Hey man, how about this? I sent him the song, and he listened to it. He listened to it, and he hit me back like, I don't know if that's the sound I'm looking for. It sounds good, but I don't know if that's my thing. And we just could never get.
Yeah.
I could never get on like, what's your thing? And then he came out with the sound of holiness. Now he told me verbally about y'all just the sound of holiness, like a church sound back in the day. I want that sound. And I was like, and at the time I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get away from that sound. I'm gonna just do this. But when I heard the sound of holiness and I heard Denzell, you did that. I was like, oh, that's what he's talking about.
Yes,
I was like, yeah, I wouldn't be gonna be the man to do that. You produced this whole project, correct?
Correct.
Listen, man. First of all, that project, man, really kind of that. Hats off to you, man. Hats off to Apostle Pink, the whole church. That kind of shifted some things in my mind, right? To just like it solidified some things to me, like with Charleston and Charleston's sound, that we got going. So what was your approach to that whole project, and how was you the glue to pull that together and put that together?
So when he originally came to me, he told me he wanted to do something similar to what Ronald Brown his CD had.
Okay.
So he gave me like a list of old songs. I didn't know none of them. I didn't know none of them, but I didn't know all of them. And he just was like, man, just keep on trying to find songs. And honestly, I ran across a video on Facebook of somebody singing "You Fight On," and I was like, man, boy, that's the one. I put him and some other people in the group chat, and I sent the video, and I was like, I think this need to be the single that we do. And he was for it. Like anything that I suggested, he was for it. Like it was never a no, I don't think so. It was always, if you think it's gonna work, let's do it.
Wow.
And
so was you the catalyst that put the set of musicians together to do that live recording?
Correct. Yeah.
And you did the live recording.
I recorded it. I produced it. I hired all the singers. I hired the band.
Wow.
They just had to show up and learn the music.
Wow.
So that's gonna be my next thing. Did you do like, all right, you and Apostle Pinkney, y'all went through, you had some rough tracks and rough ideas, like, yo, guitar sound good here, I'm gonna have a real bass player here. How was that? Or did you get the musicians together and say, follow me, this is what I kind of want to do? How was that?
So, like I said, a lot of the songs were like older, which were the songs we actually kept for the album. I knew all of those, but there was some other older songs. So one day I called John Eady, my boy, and I was like,
Eady.
I said, Eady, man, I need some help, man. I need you to help me just learn the foundations of these songs. And Eady came over to my house, and we just recorded a bunch of tracks with just pianos and key drums. And I brought one of my partners to the house, and I was like, because Foster, Pastor Payne, whatever you want to call him, he just needs a direction. So I brought my homeboy. He recorded all the reference tracks for the vocals. He sent it to him, and he learned it, and that was a wrap after that.
Man.
Now, did this song did it I won't say, did it get a Grammy? Or was it a Stellar?
It got a lot of awards. It got nominated for a Stellar. He didn't win.
Okay.
He got a lot of awards. So.
Yeah, that's
he got a huge win all over Charleston and South Carolina, and it's like
definitely
it solidified some things.
Still doing numbers to this day. I think like You Fight On now is almost close to 6 million views on YouTube. So,
and boy, you know when the churches start singing your songs.
Yeah, Charleston loves it.
So I mean, was that your first major musical project that you had done?
Yeah, that was the first, like the one that went the furthest. Yeah, that was it. I did something before that, but that one was like the one that, oh yeah, Pinkney. Everybody know that song. Yeah.
Wow. What's some of the artists that you've worked with?
I gotta pull up the phone again. But of course, my brother, he's an artist. Well, he used to. I don't think he records anymore, but he was recording at one point, and I did all of his music. Alex Holmes, Redeemed, I did that. Brian McLean, he has a song on his latest album called Only You Can. I did that. Amazing God, Devin Holmes, I did that. Of course, Pinkney's second album that we just released last year.
What is it called? Sounds of Pentecost or Pentecost?
The Pentecost Breakthrough Experience. I had to think about
Pentecost Breakthrough Experience.
I had to think about it. And then I work with a couple of people, man. Good little bit of people.
Bro, now did you do all the lighting and all the setup and the set design for
the last concert?
Yeah,
I did.
And then so obviously you got your team. Y'all streamed it live.
We did.
Correct? Mm-hmm. So on your company, you do live production. Mm-hmm. You have live streaming in that as well?
I offer it. I don't like market live streaming, but if somebody calls and asks, we get it done.
I got you.
So I'm sure some artists are watching right now. So like, what are your rates? Because I know there are a lot of artists who are looking to do some live stuff, just to branch out there. You know, there.
Tell them go to your website.
Hey, call me. Call me. We'll talk.
Hit them up, y'all.
Hey, don't. I was gonna say, Denzell, don't drop a number now.
No.
You know, yesterday's price
is not today's price.
It always changes.
Might watch this in 2 years from now. That same price.
Now, I want to bring another person in here. You did, at least from what I saw, because see now I'm so used to like when I see certain things, I'm like, oh, that's Denzell. Oh yeah, that's Denzell, right? So my boy Bam Witten. Now,
hey Bishop.
When I hey Bam, you need to come on. Stop being afraid. Come on the pod, brother. Get on the pod. But listen,
the bubble.
so Bam is just bamming out songs for a lot of different people. Yes. And when I look at the production, I always see Denzell somewhere in the back. Somewhere he might be on the organ, he might be behind the board, he might be somewhere. I see the lights. So Jason Singleton, was that you as far as the production?
So not the Bam produced it. I did all the recording.
Yes.
At that live video, you did that as well at the church?
No, I think Jonathan Allen did the actual video.
Okay.
I saw from the clip that Bam shared, I saw like the board. I saw like you got like a footprint in my mind. Like I'm like, oh, that's Denzell. I know that's Denzell. That's Denzell. Dope, man. Dope. Like you've been like, again, man, I said it earlier, you know, from the time we met, from what I see now, like you've taken a lot of steps. And sometimes, like you said, you started Natural Sounds. You didn't really, it was just like renting equipment and stuff like that.
I didn't expect none of this.
Right. You so it's kind of like you fell into it. It's more like a self-discovery, like, oh, you want this? Oh, I do that too. Oh, and it just kind of adds and adds until you got something that's carved out like, this is me. This is what I want to do. What do you want to say or leave for that young, inspiring or aspiring entrepreneur that's looking to maybe get into what you're into, you know, or even just go further in what they're into? What would you say to a young person that's trying to strive to get that?
So on, I think on Facebook, I posted maybe like a week ago, I'm telling people, you know, if you got a vision, you can't really expect everybody to believe in your vision or to see it the way you see it, because it's yours. It's your vision. Like that's something you need to birth. And even if they try to talk you out of it, if it's your vision, go for it. Like, go for it. Push. Like I didn't, where I'm at now with my company, I honestly didn't expect to be here like this soon. Like in the last 2 years, I've done events that I didn't even expect to be doing like for another 2 years from now. But, you know, God opened doors for me, you know, and I learned the craft. And I wouldn't say I'm perfect, but I almost perfected it. You know, we execute events, you know, pretty flawlessly for the most part. And, you know, people recognize that, and, you know, it's my vision. And I just went for it, man. And I never gave up even on the days when I was like, man, this company doing that company doing that. I don't got nothing. But in due time, the phone started ringing, man. And here we are now. So
well, I was watching the video. I'm glad you said that. I was watching this video today on YouTube, but not YouTube, Instagram, and I think it was Tyrese. He posted a video of this. Which one is the female chicken? Is it the hen? The hen is the female chicken, right? Well, anyway, it's female chicken covering the eggs. It was watching its eggs, and so there was a snake, a cobra, staring at the chicken and wanted because it wanted the eggs, and the mother hen, I believe it's the female, looked up and attacked the
snake.
The snake. So it makes me think of those eggs are your vision, whatever plan you have, and you're protecting that because that snake is trying to come after that vision that you have. So if you don't protect it, he's gonna come and snatch that seed or whatever thought you had or faith you had and believe in to go forth in whatever that you're trying to do. So don't let nobody try to take it from you.
Agreed.
Yeah, and definitely, man, this is not easy. When you shoot out and you shoot your shot, like some people say, shoot your shot, bro. When you shoot out, man, it may not be so much as like just a cakewalk. Oh, this is easy. You have to get up and you have to choose every day. I'm gonna do this. And like you said, JR, like you got your vision. You know, don't let the snake, don't let the cobra take that away from you. And like you said, Denzell, hey man, you know, sometimes, a lot of times, and I would say most of the times, especially when you're starting, you're going to be the only one that believes wholeheartedly in what you're doing, why you're doing it, you know, where you're trying to go. And you have to kind of put a tunnel vision on, like, this is what I'm going to do. Even failure is going to be along the way. You know, you'll catch the vision later. Because, see, some people want to come in when you already did all the hard work. And now you can come in and it just
tell me about it.
Everybody come. You can snap your finger now and delegate. You just do this. Everybody want to come on the team now. Like, hey, where were you when I was, you know,
struggling.
Nobody?
Agreed.
When I was struggling, when I was asking for help, hey, man, can somebody show up and help? You know, so a shout out to you, man, for coming on the pod. You know, we definitely appreciated you. You know, how can you be reached? How can people reach you?
So you can reach me. I mean, my number is everywhere. My phone number is 843-513-2608. Catch me on Facebook, Denzell Riley. My business page is Natural Sounds on Facebook. I think Natural Sound. It might be Natural Sounds Production Company on Instagram. And you can catch us on the web, www.naturalsoundsproduction.com. And call us.
Dope. JR, you got anything else?
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
It was an honor, man. I appreciate y'all so much, man.
Hey, you got it going on, bro. You the man. You're the next man up.
Tell him I'm up right now.
Hey, I don't want to say it.
Listen, man. I hope y'all caught what my boy Denzell was putting down. You know, dropping a lot of gems here. You know, and this is Ask a Producer. Again, this is a show, you know, about people who are producing something. You gotta throw your hat in the ring, man. You gotta be active doing something, you know. And we like to bring people on the show that's pushing the needle. Denzell is definitely one of those persons, you know. So reach out to him, man. Hit him up. You know, he does live production. You know what I'm saying? So if you need something recorded and you need that live sound and you need that sound to be natural, this is the guy to hit up. You know, he has a very professional team. He knows what he's doing. You know, look at the resume. You know, look at the stuff he cranked out. Look at the work. You know what I'm saying? The work speaks for itself, man. So hats off to you, Denzell. You know, so listen, this is Ask a Producer. I go by the name of Gabriel Oree.
JR.
And look, we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.